This is the deep state operating right out in the open. The same deep state that Donald Trump said he was going to dismantle. He is literally giving the keys to the ship. And this is what made Peter Thiel's investment into JD Vance 100% worth it. This next part, I'm going to talk about Donald Trump openly selling out his base and the country as a whole to Palantir. Exactly what Post-Duopolis was warning MAGA. So the same way that I'm constantly jabbing at progressives for constantly supporting the Democratic Party, the same way I call out Cenk Uygur or TYT, I'll call out Tucker Carlson. What did I tell you guys on my show? To me, and this is my personal opinion, there's no difference between an Anna Kasparian and a Candace Owens. You guys know they both against Israel, right? They both talk about good things. At the end of the day, they tell you to vote for the two-party system. There's no difference between a Cenk Uygur and a Tucker Carlson. It's easy to build a platform by picking a side and then just getting audience members who support Democrats or Republicans. And that's what many of these people do. Because from day one, we told you guys that Donald Trump was going to sell out the American working class to Palantir, because Palantir, Peter Thiel, this guy comes and funds this guy, this young senator, this young up-and-coming politician named JD Vance, who no one heard of. This guy who no one heard of becomes a senator out of nowhere. And then in his first term as senator, he is selected as vice president? People don't think that's weird? So now it's the cat is out of the bag. Because now Trump is taking Palantir. You got to know the company who makes money off of killing Palestinians by selling AI to Israel that targets Palestinians indiscriminately. Trump is now going to tap Palantir to compile the most comprehensive data collection on Americans, at least publicly. I'm always open to the idea that they've been doing this, but this is the most public compilation of data on Americans ever put together. And people who are actually principled in their belief, there's a lot of MAGA slop like Cat Turd and these people, they don't give a fuck about anything. But there are people on the right who are predictably not taking this well. But before I get to that, I want to get your reactions, because this is the deep state operating right out in the open. The same deep state that Donald Trump said he was going to dismantle. He is literally giving the keys to the ship. And this is what made Peter Thiel's investment into JD Vance 100% worth it. Do you have any reactions to this? Because this is what they accuse the Chinese government of doing. Because now Donald Trump is openly saying that they're going to be scanning people over anti-Semitic beliefs.
Yeah,
What's your reaction to the story initially, John?
This is one of the creepiest things to happen. One of the creepiest companies out there. You're right. Palantir was involved in the AI-driven kill chain implemented by the IDF. And I think they supplied the technology. It's for this. It's the application of AI to, in Israel's case, mass assassination. You know how you normally think of assassination as a sort of targeted in a few people, but with AI, you can do it on a absolutely mass scale. You could do it on an annihilatory scale. It's not just me saying it. Alex Karp is right out there. He's an ultra Zionist and a Zionist supremacist. He makes no bones about that. So it's extremely disturbing because it's also merging your data. I don't know where the line between this and Israel is as well. Okay.
Yeah. I want to show you guys a few of these.
So it's deep state in the sense, yes, it is deep state. It's deep state with a new character, with Silicon Valley, or this new AI constellation, right? Brought in, that includes OpenAI, right? This company, Palantir, and you just have to also look at how much money there is behind them. We're talking about hundreds of billions, because the economic rise, such as it is in the U.S. over the last few years, right, from the giant money printing exercise we had over COVID, trillions of dollars were created, went into the stock market. What did it go into? It went into these companies. It went to Nvidia, right, and so on. And these were proxies for investment in this. It was all about AI. And so there's this kind of narrative around AI. But you see, what they want to do with that AI is kind of global domination with a kind of, they're not even hiding it, an avowedly evil agenda.
So, do you guys think there was ever going to be a ceasefire when you have Palantir profiting off of Israel's killing in Gaza? Do you guys think there was ever going to be serious about stopping the killing in this
They were
situation?
using people's WhatsApp metadata, right, to track networks, their social networks, and kill them by extension in that way. They didn't have to know what you were talking about, but they looked at you and then looked at, maybe let's kill 2 degrees of everybody 2 degrees removed from this guy, or 3 degrees removed, and they could do it, right? The AI would produce the kill list, and then you send the drones out, or the fighters out, so it's very disturbing. It's very disturbing. I think there are 2 visions of AI right now, and it's hard to exaggerate this, but I think the future of humanity is at stake. What sort of future you want, given the power of AI? And these people have a very, very clear notion of it as a weapon, and a weapon of dominance for Zionist and American imperial interests. I'm not sure they separate the 2.
Yeah,
Certainly Alex Karp doesn't. Yeah.
Big shout out to my brother JB. Much love to our brother James Fauntleroy.
Yeah, technofascism.
I love that term. We was a few decades ago, as humanity, we were so naive because we had these dreams of grandeur of AI uplifting humanity. Like, you guys remember the Jetsons, where in the Jetsons you would see AI and technology helping
that's
out
what
the
China is
ordinary
doing with AI. That is what China is doing with AI.
God damn it!
Right. So DeepSeek, took a model and outclassed the best, pound for pound, right? In terms of the resources used, nothing comes close. Open sourced it. Open source, not just the code, but the weights, used for it, and wrote long, detailed academic papers, right, scientific papers on how this thing worked, and continues to do that, because for its founder, for the founder of this company, who used his own money for it, didn't use any VC money, AI is too important to be monopolized, to be used. He wanted it to educate children with. So China is applying AI to the industrial, to the supply chain. It's using it in industry. It's using it to get things done. It's using it to improve life. It's everyday applications. That's another reason why they're going to win at this, because they simply have far more use cases for it. In the West, or in the US, it's chatbots, drawing pictures and this stuff. Okay, so it's not it's very clear that you have 2 futures in the application of AI, and people should watch that, because the OpenAI thing is closed code, right? They own it, and you're going to be on a feed on this. It's like Facebook. You're going to be dependent on it. And on the other one, it's open sourced. You can download the stuff, run it on your own machines. Your competitor could run it. And we make money from the larger ecosystem. So China's AI development is very much more on an open source model.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy because China, like people have no idea how much they're about to like outperform America over the next few decades. Because as you explained, they're actually using it to benefit humanity. And meanwhile, that is not what happened. Like they're using AI in the West to benefit the ruling class,
Yeah,
to help
yeah.
them wage war. And as
Like
I
every
was
other
listening,
tool, is going to be used within your political economy.
yeah,
Like every other tool, it will privilege certain users over others. And I'm afraid in the US, Palantir is going to be your model for the use of application of AI
like
for
like when I
direct
was
aggressive surveillance in order to control, right? To quash any kind of resistance to the Zionist cause, for example.
when I was younger, I thought that AI was going to be used to open up human expression by freeing us up, by not so we don't have to do these ridiculous jobs. So that will open up more time for
Yeah,
us
yeah,
to engage in art and that kind of stuff. But what they're actually using AI for is art instead. Like they got people using these shitty AI drawings. I'm like, I
yeah,
thought AI was there so we can do more drawing ourselves. I thought AI was there so we will have more time to ourselves so we can write our own like screenplays. They got AI writing screenplays. They got AI doing everything I thought we would be doing while AI is doing the heavy lifting on stuff that is no longer necessary. But you have people, the capitalists, they're openly bragging about how you're gonna have around 20% American unemployment within the next 5-10 years, and they like in glee over this kind of stuff. There's a lot of questions. You guys know I'm a boomer heart, so I'm kind of worried about this shit because I see the ruling class, and if you're in China, you should be ecstatic. You should be loving everything that's going on. If you're in the United States and if you're in Europe, not seeing this
yeah.
shit.
So I live here, and
Not seeing
the
this
mood is
fucking
very different. The mood is
yeah,
very different. The
yeah,
attitude to technology is not one of fear and loathing. It's because it's just a tool, and it's going to make things better.
yeah.
Okay, so
I'm this is some more tweets. I'm gonna show you guys the meltdown
yeah,
because as I mentioned before, it is interesting. Even though I think that a lot of them are chumps, a lot of them are very unserious in a lot of ways, you will see a lot more criticism and pushback from MAGA against Trump than you will ever see a liberal against Kamala Harris. Way more than you will ever see a liberal progressive criticize Bernie on AOC. You will see the strongest people of MAGA criticize them, but Democrats can't even criticize their own party for funding a genocide.
yeah,
Here's Nick Fuentes, who's someone who I'm not a fan of, obviously. He's someone who believes in organizing around race. Like he want to organize white people to fight other races. He's a big fan of Nazi Germany. So I'm not obviously a fan of him. But look at he's been one of the people with a giant platform who be going the hardest at Donald Trump. Trump's
yeah,
promotion of Palantir is the ultimate betrayal of his own people, feeding every MAGA extremist into an AI database controlled by a CIA Mossad cutout. Seriously, if Palantir isn't the deep state, then what is? And then there's so many of these tweets where they pretty much mention what I just did,
yeah,
where they're just now asking these questions. This guy said, and this is what I mentioned earlier, peer-to-peer founds Palantir. Then he's created JD Vance as a political character. Then JD Vance becomes the vice president of the United States. Now Donald Trump is creating a database with Palantir. And I'm gonna show you guys this because there's a lot of information going out, and people are discussing what this will actually entail. And this is some of the early information I'm getting here, because a lot of the cat turd MAGA cultists, they got blue MAGA, red MAGA, the same thing. They have their Brooklyn dads too. They're like a MAGA cultist who will never turn against Trump. They're like, come on, man. Come on, guys, chill out. Because there's like a civil war going on. Like, if you look at X and type in Palantir, and you will see MAGA biting each other's heads off. And I respect it. Like, Lenin was famous for infighting. I think if you're actually serious, you should be infighting with each other. There is serious MAGA infighting going on right now, and I'm loving every single second of it. Because a lot of people who are defending Trump, they're like, guys, come on, you guys are overreacting. The government, of course, have a database on us. They already doing this stuff. Kamala and Biden, they was already doing this stuff. And by the way, these people are getting ratioed left and right by the MAGA people saying, if Biden did this, you guys would be foaming at the mouth with rage. And this is some more. No, this Palantir database isn't like the others. You guys see how he's responding to the MAGA people who try and downplay this? It will combine tax. What was that, John?
Yeah. He's absolutely right. It's not like the others.
Yeah.
These were things that in some cases were firewalled from each other or at least separated from each other for good reasons, to protect people.
Yeah.
That wasn't just inefficiency, right?
The ruling class is
putting this all together and leaving it in the hands of Palantir. Wow. This is quite a move.
Absolutely. It's actually
I can imagine some people on the right. There will be more resistance on the right.
It's funny because the ruling class is smart at how they sell things to people, to the populace. They realize that we're split as a society. So in order to sell, I got an Amber Alert going off. In order to sell their authoritarian plans to the masses, to the liberals, they say we are giving ourselves more power to protect minority groups, to protect against hate crimes. And then they tell people on the right that, we need to crack down on immigrants. So that's why we need to give the government more power. The same way that they sell the idea of war with Russia, with liberals, because Putin meddled in our democracy. Like they got different ways they sell different their intentions to the masses. This is what they did to the right. And now they are realizing the scam. A lot of people are realizing the scam. Let me read a tweet for the people only listening. This is what the Palantir database will be combining: the tax filings, student debt, Social Security, bank accounts, medical claims, immigration status. No previous database system has ever centralized this much personal info across various agencies. And I mentioned this before, and I think this is fucking hilarious. So you have Donald Trump, who proposed the North American Union. You know, when the United States and Canada merges together, that isn't that a globalist ideology? Isn't having a database like this, isn't that a globalist ideology?
Yeah, that's a great point. It's very, very counter to libertarian inclinations, right? The libertarians would hate it. They should, right? And we're probably going to see a revolt of some kind if they're worth anything.
And
this is
to be fair,
crazy.
To
you are aggregating this much power, this much data, and you know, handing it to a company with Israeli values.
Yeah.
Basically. Yeah. And you are seeing those values in action. You have seen what Palantir has done. You are looking at what Israel is doing. Nobody will have any excuse to be surprised at what follows after.
Very well said. And I'm always, and you guys feel free to disagree with me because I did this read many times before. I feel like a lot of people on the right, they use the term globalist because they're afraid to criticize capitalism. So instead of criticizing the tendency of capitalists to come together and create corrupt plans. By the way, a capitalist, their job is to create never-ending profit. Do you guys think a capitalist will allow a border to stop them from doing that? Of course not. Which is why they ship jobs overseas. They make business deals with other capitalists. Globalism is inherently what capitalists do. You guys understand that? So whenever you say globalist, that's people who are too afraid to criticize capitalism. To people who they don't understand that that's the inherent end game of it. But I generally understood what the right wing meant when they criticized globalism because I was generally interested. Like, what the hell you guys mean by this? Generally, it's a critique of capitalism, but they're not saying it like that.
Yeah, without theory. This is what happens to you with no theory.
That's the best way to put it. Yes, John. That's such a base quote. That's exactly what it is. Because even though they claim to be against globalists, they supported the biggest globalists in the world. So here's I could make a bigger list of this if I want. I'll just quickly jot this down if I went live. So if you look at the globalist conspiracies, they believe that they wanted to create regions instead of countries. They believe that the ruling class wanted to create a South American union. There would be the EU, the European Union. That's why they hated the EU, because they view the EU as part of the globalist agenda. Then you have the China sphere of influence and the Russia sphere of influence. Then you have the African Union. You guys realize that Donald Trump literally proposed what the globalists warned about, where the United States and Canada merged. You want to know who else was part of the North American Union, John? Greenland.
Yeah.
Greenland.
Yeah.
So
hey, you left something out. You
go
left
ahead.
The chip implant. Elon Musk's. That's a big time globalist thing, right? They're going to implant something in you.
John, don't you know that we gotta take we gotta be hit with brain chips so they know that
Yeah,
we're
you're
not
gonna have a brain chip. Yeah.
It's so they can capture illegal immigrants, guys. That's why they're doing it. Don't you know that we have real IDs, aka the digital ID that you guys been warning us about for years? Donald Trump, we can't fly domestically without a real ID.
But maybe no measles shots. No measles vaccine, maybe. I don't know. Okay.
So you guys realize the ruling class got MAGA to agree with digital IDs by simply saying that we need them to identify illegal immigrants. That's all it took. That's all it took for them to agree with this. And now you can't fly domestically without a real ID. The same thing.
Yeah.
You were the right wing. They said, "Oh my God, they're gonna have a system where you can't fly without your digital ID." You guys couldn't be stupider. And then there's the database that we already discussed. Anything else you want to add, China? I'm just having a lot of fun with the story.
No, I'm good with this.
Yeah. So I'm gonna show you guys some more reactions. So we got to show here Nick Fuentes saying that, and this was a breaking point.
Right.
To be fair to a lot of these people, was in cult mode for a very long time. Nick Fuentes has been calling out Trump for a very long time. But this has really been a shifting point.
Yeah.
Look at this.
You got to hand it to the guy. I mean, he does come out with it.
Yeah, Nick Fuentes.
He called it from the start. If
Trump moves forward with the plan to hire Palantir, he should be impeached. Bruh.
Wow.
A MAGA supporting call for the impeachment of Trump?
Yeah.
I say this as someone who supported him for a decade. This motherfucker was an OG Trump supporter, guys. Like, he was a supporter when Trump came down the Escalade. He wasn't even like a late Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio style supporter. He probably owned multiple MAGA hats. Like, that's how hardcore this motherfucker is. It's enough to make me not want to return to America. I wonder where you live at. I don't know that much about this dude. If you're MAGA and not talking about this, you're either paid or too dumb to realize how insane this is.
Oh, good. This guy's awake. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been actually very pleasantly surprised with a lot of these tweets. I said, I gave this one a like. I'm like, man, he's preaching. Look, MAGA is freaking the fuck out about Palantir, as they should. But guys, Thiel was a major 2016 Trump donor and paid for Vance's existence in politics. I can show you guys so many of these tweets of people. The Patriot Voice, he's another super cringe account that is actually very entertaining right now because he's been going off, bro. Patriot Voice been going off on Trump ever since this news broke.
UN Agenda 2030 goals. Okay, yeah. Now you sound like real.
I'm gonna read this one. Because there are a lot of people.
Yeah.
I'm gonna read this one tweet here. I think this tweet is good from the Patriot Voice. He's been going off. He pretty much done with Trump. like, bro, this has been the line in the sand moment, because a lot of them was already frustrated with Trump and Israel. They was already frustrated with the Ukraine peace not coming to plan, with Trump pretending not to know Ukraine tried to assassinate Putin. They was already becoming upset. Yeah, trust me, guys, I know that Patriot Voice is cringe as fuck. But what does it say? That Trump is losing these people? So I'm gonna just read a little bit of this. Feel free to chime in if you have anything you want to add. For those of you who are having a hard time keeping up, let me break it down. Palantir, which is more or less a quasi-intelligence agency with ties to the CIA and the Mossad, is acting as a contractor, just effectively and effortlessly cooped the whole U.S. government through the Trump administration to build out an AI-powered database of all American sensitive information at a capacity we never seen before. This database will be weaponized against us all once the social credit system is in place, and you can and will become a target if you dare dissent. Just like how China runs their society. You guys see how he's a dipshit still?
No, this is amazing.
God.
I love it. I love how the projection comes home. This was created as this fake narrative about China. There is no social credit system here, right?
Doesn't exist.
I live in this place, but certainly there is. I mean, they created this word for this this fake story, but it's coming true in the States. It's amazing. Amazing.
What do you think we are, guys? You think we're the Asians? This is what they always say.
Yeah. Do you think? What are we, Asians?
We're not the damn Asians. What do you think we are? North Korea? No, they will say that as the United States is literally doing what
we're becoming China. If only you could become. You would have healthcare.
If only
free education.
You guys see I'm not praising. I don't like any of these people, but isn't this very interesting that these dipshits that hate China, even they're realizing
constitutional
that
rights are being stomped on, subverted. Go on, please read this. It's great.
Yeah. Just like how China runs a society, which is the model for the UN, WF, and NWO plans for the world, especially America. And your constitutional rights are being stomped on and subverted by a third-party corporation in which CEO Peter Thiel says, "I no longer believe that freedom and democracy are compatible." That's a real quote. America is wholly occupied nation, and we are in big trouble. They literally have Palantir. You guys see this? And by the way, us on the left, we've been pointing this out, and they're like, "Oh, you guys are fucking stupid commies." We've been telling you guys that Trump is a fucking sellout. This is what capitalists do. But John, you haven't even reacted. I want to get you in here, so I'm enjoying the story a lot. Anything you want to add?
No, this is bizarre. I've seen this, and I haven't really sat down, to be honest, to really think this through. But really, I thought it was just it couldn't be true. I thought it was exaggerated. But they really are getting this company to do this. Well, good luck. It is not good.
I've just been surprised that every step of the way they've been very transparent about it, like about the Palantir takeover. Like the Trump, JD Vance, and his people was doing this in slow motion, and then there were people like Russell Brand, and you guys know how much I hate that motherfucker because he would do a whole show, never talk about Peter Thiel, never do a show, never talk about Palantir. Alex Jones, never talk about Palantir, and I snuffed through these motherfuckers. Tucker Carlson, why are you not talking about Palantir, sir? Like, why all these right wingers, they would conveniently ignore Palantir. Meanwhile, everyone else, we all was like, "Hey guys, you guys don't see this?" It was very out in the open. It was very slow motion. Now they doing this, and all these people like Patriot Front realized that we was right. People are quick to suggest
very disturbing development. Yeah.
I'll pass. I want to get your final thoughts, John. I'm gonna read this last tweet.
Yeah,
people
please.
are so quick to suggest that I flip on Trump. No. I didn't flip on Trump. Trump flipped on us. Pure copium. I'm just not willing to continue living a lie. So he's willing to admit that he lived a lie. These people who supported Trump for 10 years, they lived a lie because there was never a bigger globalist than Donald Trump. Fam, Ivanka Trump is good friends with Chelsea Clinton. They're family friends with the Clintons. They were friends with Joe Scarborough. You know, the host of Morning Joe? There's never a bigger swamp monster than Trump. The ruling class loved Trump so much, they gave him a reality show.
Yeah.
That's why I don't understand why people shocked about this. These are things I used to say. And I was frustrated because the neoliberal class kept getting in our way. Because I'm like, bro, we can easily take down Trump. He's clearly fraudulent. But the liberal class can attack him on this because they're in the Palantir grift too. Everything that they can actually successfully attack Trump on, they can't because they're in on it too. So the only people who can actually take down MAGA will be a true left. But they didn't. They refused to have that. Let's see. I think this may be the last one. Do I have any other receipts? I think I have one more. No, yeah, I think this was my last one on the Palantir story. So, any last thoughts, John, on this story?
I'm just blown away by the power this gives them. Yeah. People have to understand this isn't just algorithmic searching. This is AI. AI is going to be applied to this. It will be very, very individual. It will be very tailored to you, and you can be manipulated, subverted, exposed, attacked in ways that you cannot even imagine now. So yes, it's extremely disturbing. I'm not even a libertarian, but I think you were right in I think this illustrates that you do need a class analysis, not to be carried away by the flashing lights and the flags and the MAGA hats and so on, right, about Trump or any other figure. That in the end there is a class issue, a political economy issue, and avoiding that just gets us back to here. People keep finding out, right, the hard way. People keep falling for it. And well, this is it. This is a massive betrayal. I thought I was going to speak about a certain betrayal or disappointment in foreign policy, but this one really comes home.